I used to think I'd outgrown fear in video games. You play enough of them, shooters, horrors, actions, and eventually you stop feeling. Firefights become predictable, tactics stay stagnant, and the meta doesn't change. Before long, I realized I was playing on autopilot. This was until I tried Hunt Showdown. I've been playing Hunt Showdown for a long time. The game refused to let me quit. I would take breaks but always consistently come back to the game. There are so many amazing parts of this game I want to talk about today. Let's talk about Hunt Showdown, my favorite multiplayer game. Firstly, the design. The game's atmosphere pulls you in. The sounds of the grass, animals, and monsters instantly hit your ears. The game has minimal UI to really bring you into the experience. It all takes place in the 19th century, with mostly historical weapons from the time. The buildings, the events, and even the monsters to some extent are designed with the time period in mind. The players' avatars are also designed to look relevant to the time. There's people covering themselves in dirt to be harder to see for other hunters. There's plague doctors and scarecrows, and most importantly, there's Post Malone. Post Malone has also gone on record to say he loves Hunt Showdown.
It's the best game. It's the best game.
The character designs are great. The random enemies are no slouch either. Zombies have great designs and different gimmicks. Elite enemies such as the Immolator, Hive, Meathead, and the new Brute can be tough enemies to beat with unique gimmicks and visual design. The enemies in this game are amazing and contribute to the environmental design. The bosses in this game are great as well. The game is centered around PvE, so the game's goal is to kill the boss, get the boss's bounty, and extract. The bosses are somewhat scary but have visually interesting designs. They all have weaknesses and apply different status effects. There's a flaming pighead boss who swings around with a butcher's hook. There's a boss who's made of cockroaches and dematerializes. There's so many different bosses, and they have been consistently adding new ones, such as a plague doctor who carries equipment, and an alligator who zaps the water. Hunt is great at adding new content, especially in the form of monsters. Post Malone's event had the Ursa Mortis, a two-headed bear which was later adapted into the Brute. The Hellborn is an Immolator type boss which can spew fireballs, and the current event, Web of the Empress, has spider eggs found near supply points and event locations which spawn tiny spiders if they're not destroyed. The enemies and the environment can often make sounds which can be dangerous. Crows, water devils, zombies, horses, cows, and ducks all make noises and visual cues to alert other hunters. It's dangerous to make these noises because other hunters will have information on your location. After all, it's hunt or be hunted. Speaking of sound, everything you do makes sound, even switching the weapon you equip. As with any tactical shooter, the sound is extremely important.
It's so awesome, and once you nail it, you feel so good because you're walking around the woods, and you're like, wait, you know you hear dudes.
Yeah.
And you can even hear, and opposed to other games, you can hear people ADSing.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, I hear him outside the wall. It's a wooden wall. I hear him right there.
Yeah.
I'm gonna blast him.
Stalking players and waiting for them to get into a swamp or fight players makes it really feel like you're hunting others. The sound design of this game is important for the next part of the game I'd love to talk about, the tactical gameplay. Extraction shooters have some of the highest skill ceilings I've seen in games. There's so many skills to hone, such as positioning, timing, game awareness, sound recognition, leading targets, stealth, loadout selection, resource management, and of course aim. I've never had a game that has so many pieces that work together so seamlessly. I could go on forever about the tactics in this game. One of my favorite hunt YouTubers, Raktaz, has experimented with so many builds it's ridiculous, such as a beekeeper build where he has just a bunch of hive bombs to throw at people. The loadout selection they have in this game is a skill in itself. In Hunt, you're able to carry 4 slots of weapons, with weapons taking from 1 to 3 slots depending on their size. With over 150 different weapon variants, the game has a very diverse selection. ranging from a katana to an automatic rifle to elephant hunting rifles. The game has such a wide variety, I'd be surprised if you didn't find a gun you clicked with. The type of ammo a weapon uses is also important. Shotgun shells have low penetration and can barely pierce wooden walls. Long ammo can pierce through certain stone walls and metal, while compact ammo can barely pierce anything, but are abundant in ammo crates. Then, there's 13 different custom ammo total. Shotguns can shoot fire with a dragon's breath, or coins, which can deal very high damage close up and especially to flesh. Other guns also have a variety of options. They can be equipped with a lighter bullet to have faster travel velocity. They can also do permanent damage to enemies' health bar through incendiary ammo, but with many downsides like a visible tracer. Or they can shatter on impact and cause heavy bleeding, but remove its penetration. The amount of different ways to play weapons and customize your build lets you experiment and find new content. One weapon I think that has a very unique playstyle while being extremely powerful and fun is the hunting bow. It one-shots to the body and is like a shotgun, which can also work long range. The weapon requires so much skill due to its arrow travel speed, but it's so much more powerful than you'd expect. Additionally, there's even more customization you can add to the weapons, being special ammo. With the hunting bow, you can use either concertina arrows or poison arrows. Concertina arrows explode barbed wire where they land. This barbed wire bleeds and slows anything caught in them. The poison arrow can also prevent hunters from healing and synergize with traits like pain sense, which lets you see poisoned enemies. The hunting bow is also very quiet and has reusable arrows, which leads to much stealthier gameplay. Then there's the Nitro Express. It's an express rifle which shoots special bullets. This gun is a beast, and it is the second most expensive gun in the game behind the Automat, an automatic rifle. This gun only has 6 bullets and shreds through anything. It can go through walls and one-shots to the body with a ridiculous range. To counteract this, the gun has a terrible scope, and so is only useful at far ranges or as a shotgun. Additionally, this weapon has 2 more special ammo types. One causes severe bleeding to anything hit, and the other explodes shrapnel on impact. These are just 2 weapons, and that's not even close to the whole iceberg of loadouts. Tools and consumables also play a huge role. Certain items are necessary, like some form of melee, the first aid kit, and other healing. The rest is up to you. You want to bring traps to kill people without ever seeing them? They have those. Want to bring a C4 or just 4 grenades? No one's stopping you. Want to bring a bunch of beetles you can control remotely that explode on command? The world's your oyster.
I saw a whole team with 12 beetles.
12 beetles.
Yep.
What'd you do about that?
Nothing die.
They recently added tarot cards as consumables, which give you a variety of crazy effects, such as being able to spectate enemies while still alive, removing places you can extract from. All these items, except the tarot cards, cost hunt dollars to equip. As such, economy management is also important for this game. You can't bring in the automatic rifle every match because it's certainly not cheap. The game is also very forgiving with the economy. A lot of the free loadouts they give you is actually quite good, and some of the best weapons in general, such as the Winfield, which they renamed to the Frontier 73, and the Romero, an amazing shotgun. In fact, the Winfield was my favorite gun for a while, even outside of its cheap price tag. That's not even the end of loadout selection. Traits also play a huge role in this game. Some can help you regenerate health, but others can completely change the way you play. Pain Sense lets you see hunters with status effects in your dark vision, which can combo with your grenades or your guns. There's traits that make you move silently through the swamps and ladders, and ones that let you revive your teammates or yourself from a distance. Then there's the event traits, which have crazy effects like being able to teleport to zombies, invisibility to all monsters, and cheating death to save your hunter. Traits cost upgrade points. The legendary hunters you unlock start with 10 when you purchase them. Upgrade points are gained through extracting with a hunter. You gain levels through collecting the bounty, killing enemy hunters, and other monsters. Traits also cost a differing amount of upgrade points depending on their strength. The skill ceiling of this game is incredible. You can play in a variety of ways with a large loadout selection. The skills you can hone with sound, visuals, and game sense are insane. I love that Hunt Showdown doesn't require amazing aim. It certainly helps, don't get me wrong, but there are so many skills that players can use to give themselves an advantage. Let's look at the importance of another skill, sound. You can hear what kind of material others are walking on to determine where they are. You can figure out the skin of the hunter by their death cry, and what kind of weapon they're using from the sound it makes. Being aware of this can also mislead others. You can fake reviving your teammate to bait out an enemy's location. Nothing is truly silent, so when you hear nothing, the tension is stiffening. Hearing floorboards creak, a dog's growling, and a silenced pistol's direction. All of these skills are important to hone when everything makes noise. The game feels very realistic in that way, with the muted UI, unsaturated colors, and the abundance of noises. You really have to be a hunter, using all your senses at all times, while blending in with your environment. At times, I would consider myself paranoid, hearing things that aren't quite there. But I have never had such heightened senses for any other game I've played. It feels like I'm using all of my perception to figure out the best course of action at all times. I'm always on alert, even just crossing through a field. At any time, I could be shot in the head because I wasn't aware of my surroundings. This constant awareness can get tiring. For me, the tension is alleviated by conversations with my friends.
Ah! All good, all good. Oh my god, I'm locked.
While my brain is perceiving my surroundings, I'm able to joke and laugh with my teammates. I am lucky to have others to play with, as I think the suspense of the game would scare me too much, which I didn't think I could feel anymore.
That's kind of what drew me into the game, is you're either 100% in or you're done.
Yeah.
You know, I could either rock this dude and send him off, or I'm totally naked.
Yep.
You know, and that kind of gamble is like, I shake. Every game I'm shaking and I'm like, this is awesome, dude. And whenever you pull it off, you're like, I'm the best. I'm the best player in the entire world.
In that way, the game feels like a horror game, where sometimes you're the prey, and sometimes you're the monster. A twig snaps? Was that your teammate? A cough from a zombie? Or a choke bomb? It all depends on your mentality.
A guy opens his door and gets shot and you think that of me? No. I am the one who knocks.
I usually play the safest in my friend group, so I'm often reacting to their crazy plans, but sometimes we just need to do something stupid to get something done. Sometimes it's running circles around the enemy to throw a spear behind their back. Sometimes it's bombing yourself to create a distraction to revive your teammate. And sometimes it's straight up charging at someone with a big hammer you picked off the ground. I'm glad to have people who want to play with me and love this amazing game. Which is the next part I'd like to talk about, this game's great multiplayer experience. As I've mentioned earlier, loadout selection is very diverse, leading to different playstyles and great player expression. The game is barely monetized outside of its purchase, with the only other monetization being cosmetic skins for hunters, weapons, and items, which you can also get from leveling up in the game or completing events. I would describe this game as an open world extraction shooter. There's no storm, and nothing to force you to leave certain areas. In fact, there's an achievement for visiting every area on the map in one mission. The game wants you to explore and find other players naturally by slowly guiding you to the target locations. You can often find people before the bounty through sounds and other information like clues already being taken and zombies already being spawned. The game is for 1 to 3 players and has very fun events such as the Scorched Earth event. In this event, there were wildfires around the map. The Moon Trilogy event was also amazing. You were able to join factions and gain new overpowered traits for each faction. Last year, Post Malone's Murder Circus was a fun event with new areas, skins, and a new weapon. The game consistently adds new events every couple months. New items, weapons, maps, balance changes are released which allow for new builds to shine. The meta is constantly evolving, so it always feels fresh, especially since the game now has 4 maps with 13 to 16 uniquely designed locations in each. Each match is unique because of the wide variety of maps and locations and unique weather conditions such as rain, fog, and ash, which favor specific weapons. Snipers, for example, prefer clear weather conditions for clean sniping, and the heavy rain can mask the noise of louder guns. Each map can also be found at nighttime, allowing players to more easily spot gunfire. The replayability of this game is one of the reasons why I think it is a great multiplayer experience. It has the most content I've experienced in a multiplayer shooter game. Most multiplayer games rely on the player base to create the content, but this game has so many weapons, maps, and overall content that allows for so many hours of gameplay. I have 500 hours and I still learn about new interactions and weapons all the time. Hunt Showdown reminded me how to truly feel something in a game again. A mix of fear and tension causes a rush of adrenaline I've never felt in any other game. It's not a game you can master overnight with how many skills it has, and it's not one you can fully outgrow. The depths of the systems and the content in this game would have made it a good single player game, and as a multiplayer game, it has infinite replayability. It's rare to find a competitive game that balances chaos and strategy this well. Hunt demands patience and awareness, which builds the tension to the climax of each match, where it's a free-for-all for the bounty. If you have some friends who want to play, or the game looks like something that you would like, I highly recommend checking it out, and we will live to die another day.